Another thing that people will say to me a lot is, I want to be a writer. I would really love to write a book, but I don't know what to write about. Okay, well, that's a good place to start. And I suppose as a writer, you really need to find your niche. I mean, and there are all kinds of genres out there. You've got Western, you've got thriller, suspense, mystery, horror, romance, young adult, espionage, you name it. It's out there. And there are even some specialty ones. All kinds of people with all kinds of interests want to read about it. They want to be able to immerse themselves in whatever role, world, reality that they like. Fantasy, science fiction, it goes on and on and on. First thing that I would say about finding something you like to write about, what do you like to read? For myself, I like mysteries. I like ghost stories. I like history. I mean, a well-written history book will read like a novel because it's not just a record of dates and events. It's a whole story. In fact, the second half of the word is story. You got fantasy. People want to be able to get away from their problems for just a few minutes a day. Pick up a book, read it over your lunch break, read it before you go to bed, read it while you're enjoying meals, read it when you're traveling on a plane, however, whenever, whatever. Those are the things that you like to immerse yourself in. So, who's to say you can't turn around and write one? The thing that kind of pushed me off the edge of, I'd really like to write a book someday, is I was reading an ad in a writer's magazine. And it was for a self-publishing company. And this fellow said he could never find a Western that he liked. He had read all the Zane Grey, he had read all the Louis L'Amours, and he never found one that he really liked. So he wrote it. And he had last. So he wrote a sequel. He ended up writing a whole series. It can work. I mean, didn't The Hobbit start out as Tolkien telling bedtime stories to his kids? Frankenstein, the novel that kicked off the entire idea of science fiction, that was written as something for them to do on a rainy weekend when everybody was stuck in this great big old house. There's all kinds of, you don't have to necessarily start out going, you're going to be the Pulitzer Prize winning author. You're going to win the Nobel Prize for literature. You're going to be on the New York Times bestseller list. You want to write because you want to tell a story. So if you want to find out where you'd be best at, what do you like to read? And don't be surprised if you find out what you originally thought is not where you're going to be the most comfortable. It's not where you're going to be the most successful. It's not going to be where you're the most fulfilling. I had wanted to write horror novels. I wanted to write ghost stories. I wanted to write suspense and thriller and what's creeping up the dark hallway. And I did. I wrote one, my very first book, Shadows Present, Shadows Past. And from there, I've gone into espionage and mystery, and I'm working on a Western, and I've got some plans for a fantasy novel, and I don't see any reason why I should limit myself to just one. I'm going to keep doing it because it's fun, it's what I like to do, and it's what I want to do with my life. So, if you're looking for a sign to get going, here's your sign.